All right, so I got a comment. I think it was 3 videos ago or so. It was on the video where I was talking about my intention to uh, do the philosophical project. Crazy 45 Cat, a longtime friend of the channel and fellow Floridian, uh, gave a comment on that video like, "Oh, that's a great idea, but how about you talk about how you voted and what's going on politically and how people who voted like you uh, have affected the situation and the gun control and everything else." Now, what Crazy is pointing out is that, with me being a professing libertarian, the idea is that I voted for Gary Johnson, and I assume that because of my vote for Gary Johnson, that I'm somehow responsible for Barack Obama being in office, and furthermore, I'm somehow responsible for anything happens that the great white father Mitt Romney could have prevented. I would like to point out an answer to that one, hopefully my Republican friends that watch this stuff. I mean, hopefully we can remain friends and remain friendly beyond anything that we talk about politically or any other deep subject or deep thoughts. But if we can't, we can't. I know I lost Artisan Tony pretty early on in the election because there were some issues that I had that I would not let go of, and I still stand by those, and I still stand by my prior principles. I'm not willing to just get on board anymore with the team just so we can beat somebody that we perceive as being worse. Let me say flat out, and my immediate response to any of this, and this was even back in January, my first thought was I was thankful that Mitt Romney was not elected with this situation as it pertains to Second Amendment freedoms. And let me just quickly say why. By having Barack Obama in office, a man wearing the blue shirt with a big D on it, oh, that's not our team, so we need to oppose anything that the other team stands for. So, in essence, Barack Obama there gave the Republicans in office sort of fuel and a reason to filibuster or block any pursuit that the Democrats would have had in ramrodding any sort of legislation pertaining to gun control. All right. I can't guarantee this, but simply going by his voting record, Mitt Romney is no friend of gun rights. And with him being in the Republican in office, being a rhino, and that is a Republican in name only, going by his voting records as an executive of Massachusetts, where he signed an assault weapons ban, uh, you know, what on earth would make us think that he would not have done the same as president? He'll want to act. He'll want to have his place in history. He'll want to make it look like he's doing something. And so in a way, that development is a good thing. And I want to further point out that I think there is evidence given John McCain, who previously ran against Barack Obama, has joined the 16 other senators in supporting the bill that's going to go up in front of the Senate and be voted on that looks very, very familiar to the initial assault weapons ban presentation that happened in 1994, which when it was in committee, okay, we're having a little history lesson here. When it was in committee, it didn't start out as the crime prevention bill. The crime prevention bill didn't have the stuff about the guns and everything else. Those were added after committee approved the vote. It was added as an amendment after the fact. So check this out. An outright gun ban can't make it through committee, but we're able to make another law and then add the assault weapon ban pork later on. And your man, Republican senator from Arizona, a freedom-loving state, I have no earthly idea how a senator, a Republican senator from Arizona, is fulfilling the will of his constituency by pursuing anything like this, besides just politics as usual. You know, they'll vote for anything, so long as it serves their needs, and you know, their needs are going to be to feed the machine. I firmly believe the adage that a Democrat will restrict your guns and a Republican will take them, and history will prove that time and again. Now, as for me and the fellow libertarians, I believe and I feel, and in this last election, more and more people are willing to vote their conscience. You know, vote for the person that they feel will do the job best, not the person they feel that happens to be on their team that stands the best chance of being elected. Because tens of millions of people vote, tens of millions of people don't vote, and you can look at the voting history of like when if you look on the internet, you can find the numbers of people who actually show up to vote for the executive election, and you know, tens of millions of people didn't show up to vote for this one, much less for Barack Obama, and you know, much less for our Republican candidate, South America's own Mitt Romney. Now, I think there is a misconception out there amongst Republicans that somehow freedom-minded libertarians and anarcho-capitalists are simply misguided would-be Republicans, okay, because of certain conservative values. And that's actually, I think that's incorrect to assume that a person who, like, if a person wasn't normally going to be a libertarian, then they'd go ahead and be a Republican. Being conservative isn't always good when the status quo is tyranny, okay? You know, look at some of the shit that Republicans are saying about guns. When you do have Republicans saying, yeah, registration is a good idea, you know, it blows my mind. Yeah. I couldn't fit all this in one video, but I'm not ashamed of the way that I voted, and I'm not ashamed of my perspectives or my stance, and I don't have any plans to particularly change. And I can't tell you for a fact that if I wasn't looking at a Republican Party candidate or a Green Party candidate or an Independent Party candidate, that I would for sure be looking at a Republican. You know, my ideal would be a man standing up there, or woman standing up there. Sorry to be genderly insensitive, but my ideal would be the person standing up and say, no, we're going to restore the Fourth Amendment here. We're going to restore due process. This is key. Due process has been eroded in our nation to the point of, you know, we're letting the media and popular social outlets determine the guilt or innocence of people, and everything else is being put along the wayside. You know, I think the trend of guilty until proven innocent is thoroughly out of hand in this nation, and it's to me the most important topic. So there it is, man. Fast and dirty, and I make no apologies for my views. Thank you for your time.